Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me nice and clearly. We'll get some instruction from Gilly shortly. Gilly's in the room with you today. How are we all doing? There we go. I can see numbers popping up on the side. So at least I'm live. Hopefully you can hear me. How are we all doing today? Groovy Tuesday. Oh, lovely cup of coffee. Get me going. So, yes, these weeks, they seem to fly by. I can't believe I was talking to, let's have a look. Yes, sound is good from Gilly. Thank you, Gilly. Good morning. Can see all the lovely ladies coming in on the side there. Good morning, Nancy from the States. Catherine, Gilly's in the room. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day and I said, I thought it was February. I'd somehow gone back several months and thinking, where did that come from? Because I was actually talking about August, but February came into my head. Obviously must have a meaning somewhere. Maybe I was thinking of February next year. Who knows? It's a strange old world out there. And my head is just a strange old head as well. So, but it's nice to have your company again today. So early to the party, and it's nice to see all the early starters are in there as well. Jill, Janice, Anne, Hazel Edwards, good morning. Good morning, Ken. Ah, the lovely Ken. Ken's always there, come rain or shine. And at the moment, it's shining out there. So what's the weather like with you? It's been really freaky down here. I saw on the news this morning, I heard on the news, that parts of West London had flash floods yesterday afternoon. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's nice and dry here at the moment. And who knows? Apparently we've got some warm weather coming later in the week down here in the south. So we shall see. I just get up, come into work. Whatever the weather is, it makes no difference to me. It's just another day. So I must admit, it feels very strange today being on my own. We've had the company of the lovely Linda the past few weeks with her fantastic knowledge and that shading work. Just crazy. Linda's having this week off because she's getting ready for the Pergamano Summer School next week. I'm so excited about that. I really, really can't wait. To be in the virtual room with Linda is just magical, and to have you've got the best seats in the house, you really have, and you'll be able to sort of watch it again and again. So after it's finished, you can go back, you can press rewind, you can press rewind, you can pause it and just watch it again and again. And all you need are the books and the tools. That's it. There's no cost whatsoever, which is, I think, is in this current climate and this current world, I think it's a fantastic way of doing it. And it means that you're sort of covered worldwide. So it doesn't matter where you are, you haven't got to travel. If there's roadworks, I mean, M25, that's also known as the biggest car park in the southeast. There's always congestion. When I go up to the TV, I have to go through the Dartford Tunnel and come back over the crossing. And it doesn't matter, even though the barriers are not there anymore, there's always congestion. Crazy. So what we do? Oh, 2 minutes past 10 already. So, right, where are we today? So I hope you're well, and I hope you've all been enjoying what Linda's been showing us. And I thought today, because we're sort of giving Linda a rest before she starts school next week, I thought we'd go back to a little bit of basics and cover some of the stuff that we covered earlier on in the Groovy Tuesday, because I know that we get a lot of new people joining each week. And you may think, oh, I've missed a bit. And obviously you can go back and watch on our YouTube channel. But I think sometimes it's nice to sort of have a bit of a recap. And we can look at the plate that Linda's been guiding us through. Let's have a look, which is her one, two. Oh, look, there's that Groovy tab. I wondered where that had gone. Put it somewhere safe. So Linda's 1, 2, 3 butterfly. So you've got the beautiful, we was looking at this in episode 22, I believe. That's it. And Linda was showing us how we could create the beautiful, where's my bit of, here it is, I've got it under here. This is my practice piece. Linda was showing us, wasn't she, how to create this beautiful shading process rather than going on completely white. And so this is my practice piece. This is my work in progress that I can go back to again and again. And so we've been having a look at that, and that was just taking this element here. And you can see we just took the several different butterflies and just played around with them. And Linda, I mean, just listening to Linda and watching her work her magic. And as we know, with any white work, whether it be sort of complete white work or whether we do the shading, it takes time. And so to be able to get that sort of basic, well, it's not really basic, is it? To get that instruction from Linda and then go away and practice and then hone it and go, right, okay, well, what happens? I mean, Linda was showing us last week with the dragonfly, and you can repeat this process with the butterfly as well. So she showed us how we took half of the butterfly, or the dragonfly in this case, and then replicated it to make a complete one. And it was just looking at the different ways in which we traced out that, I was going to say all fingers and thumbs, but my mouth isn't fingers and thumbs, is it? And I know from watching Linda and from experience that these little gaps that I've created need to be narrower to give it more of a natural look. Okay, so that's where we've been looking over the past couple of weeks, but I thought it'd be really nice just to have a look at the plate in a little bit more detail and just go back to basics and have a look at some of the things we've done in the past, the different techniques. But before we get started on this, because we'll give people a chance to sort of get their coffee ready, because I mean, it's 5 past. It's still early doors, isn't it? So we'll get everyone a chance to come in, get comfortable, get their coffee, maybe some biscuits, who knows. But I wanted to showcase the one-day special from last week on the craft store, Cherry Green's beautiful, beautiful butterflies, the gorgeous montages and the elemental plates where we can sort of split it up and take it all back to basics. And I've got, let me show you the plates first in case you happen to have missed the show. Now, what I love is that we've got several different sizes. So we have them in the A5 plate, okay? And you can see here, we've got the beautiful rose, we've got a rose stem, gorgeous little butterflies, and the bubbles. Remember Linda showed us the bubbles last week? See, the bubbles are done for you. So this is nice and easy. But what I love is that you also get sort of like a coloured inspiration sheet as well. So for me, if you're sort of struggling with colouring in, to have something like this, I mean, it's just a guide, isn't it? But it may just give you that little bit of inspiration. So we had it in the A5 plate where you've got all the different elements. But then if you're new to groovy and you're thinking, oh, that's too difficult, I just want to give it a go and trace out the design, then we've got the completed imagery. So these are little A6 plates. So perfect. And you would really think, even though there's that much detail on them, it's amazing the magic of the groovy on how you can pick up. Okay, Catherine said she got the plates and they're beautiful. Then we've got the next collection. I should have sorted these out, shouldn't I? Flip them over. So then we have this, I love this. And it was quite funny because we learned about the difference between the moths and the butterflies. But to me, really, if I was sending that card to someone, unless they know themselves, depending on the colors, it could be anything, couldn't it? So again, you've got the larger one with the elements, and then you have the smaller one all completed. So it's all about, depending on what level you're at with your parching or your grooving, whether, okay, you're not so good at your composition, you just want a nice, quick and easy card, then that would be an option. Then we've got the next one in the collection. Oh, look at it. Organised or not. See, I love these. We was having a discussion. I think they're peonies. But someone said, oh, they could be dahlias. I suppose they could. But they're beautiful flowers. I think these are my most favourite flowers out of the collection. Okay. So what was that? Susan, I'm hoping they arrive tomorrow. Can't wait to play with them. You will not want to put them down, honestly. And then we've got the little completed one as well. And then we've got the two different collections of butterflies and moths. Again, just loads on there. And from those of you that have been with us for a while, you know that you can just take the outline of the butterflies and infill them with some of the grid plates or some of Josie's grid pattern plates. And talking of Josie's grid pattern plates, I've got some exciting things to show you later. Ha, ha, ha. That'll keep you enthralled. But again, I love this one here. This is absolutely gorgeous. And there's the coloured in version there. And their actual size as well. So again, you can help with your positioning. We showed during the TV shows last week how to sort of, if you wanted to reconstruct the various different designs, how you could do that. And look, let me show you these samples, because these are the samples that Josie created for me to showcase on TV. And you'll be familiar, there's that beautiful flower I was talking about. Let me see if I can come in on this camera here. And look at that shading work. That's exactly what Linda has been showing us these past couple of weeks, but with butterflies. So if you've got the hang of the butterflies and how to do the shading on that, then you could definitely do that effect as well. Isn't that beautiful? And it's crazy to think that, where's that one? Have I got one under here? I better have it now. Yeah, let me show you this one. So if we go to the overhead on this, can't get back into the swing of these cameras. So when you look, it's exactly the same flower, but it looks completely different. There's no crisp white line around the outside. Whereas on this one, which is what I would traditionally tend to go for, let me bring these up so you can see if we can get those any closer. So you can see you've got the traditional groovy crisp white line around the outside, whereas this one, there's no line. So it gives it a completely different look. And again, you can introduce color to them as well. I mean, Josie's artwork, who was this one? This one's from Chris Walker. But it was just to show the comparisons between the two different flowers. So that was one of the demos we looked at on TV. Then this one. Now, again, when we look at this, we've done this, haven't we? We've done this type of technique where we've taken the outline, let's come in on this one, where we've taken the outline of the butterfly, but infilled it with the pattern grids. We did this really early on with the beautiful butterfly wreath, didn't we? Okay, so what's that question coming in from Karen? Paul, please tell me, when you have drawn out your first outline, do you take parchment off the plate and then go over the lines on the pink mat? Does it come with practice? Karen, if you're talking about to get the crisp white line, then I just do it while it's on the Groovi Plate, and that will give me that equal measure. And what I find, we'll talk about that today actually. Jilly will remind me if I forget, because I know I get carried away with my waffling, about how much pressure to apply. So going back to this one here, we can see we've got that beautiful outside frame, and that's from Josie's grid, or not the grid, it's from the embossed A4 square plate mate. And then a little bit of cutting on there as well. But again, it's all about just practicing and having a look. Now this one is absolutely gorgeous. This was the first one that I did. And this, I love the effect of infilling the borders. And I'm going to give you a sneaky peek later of some new plates that are coming up with some new designs from Josie Davidson that you can use to infill as well. And when you see the samples I've got to show you, I would just say you check out those baskets quickly on Thursday. So we've got that one. Sorry, I digress. Then let's come back on the overhead on this one. I love the effect of the black parchment with the crisp white line. And some people say, oh, maybe it's a little bit too harsh. But for me, it's the drama it creates. And then taking the picot circles, it adds dimension to it as well. Okay, and we've got, look, those gorgeous little bubbles that Linda was showing us, but they are on the plates as well. Look at that. That beautiful. Just really, really Mandarin? Mandarin, where did Mandarin come from? And then look, if you're brand new to Groovi and you're thinking, this is the first time I've tuned in or I'm just getting the hang of it, this is using the beautiful Waimea Falls designer parchment. Picot cut from the picot ovals, traced out random butterflies and moths, remove the color using an eraser pencil, which we've done in the past, and then just reapplying the color on the back with the pens or the pencils. So again, there's no skill. If you're brand new to Groovi, you can definitely do this. You really can. Okay, so that was a little bit of a showcase while everyone pulls up a chair. So are we all good to go? The artwork, I mean, Josie and the design team, they put so much time and effort into the samples and the preparation. And I get sort of like, I suppose out of an hour, I probably get about 25 minutes to try and break it down and showcase it. And it really doesn't do them justice. And I know Grace often showcases the design team's work on the Clarity Matters blog. And then every Sunday, one of the design team do a beautiful step-by-step using some plates as well and different techniques. So I'm sure Jilly can pop the link up for you for the Clarity Matters blog, because there's a whole library every Sunday, the Groovi Sunday, of different tutorials. And that card that we was looking at with Linda, where we was doing these butterflies, is a step-by-step tutorial on there as well. Okay. A question from Nancy. Are the sparkly lines mapping pen work? So pretty and magical. Yes, Nancy. So basically it's a mapping pen with the sticky ink and just very lightly going over the lines. And then you let the glue go off, i.e. sort of it dries, and then you sprinkle the perga glitter on. And then it's ultra fine, so it doesn't detract from the detail. Oh, I'll get quite good at these questions and answers. Yeah, oh, Jilly's replied. Yes, Josie's replied as well. There you go. Okay. Right. Mouthful of coffee and calm it. Calm down. I've got a pile of stuff here I want to show you, but no, not yet. I'm not going to peek too soon. Okay. I think it's an excitement of the Pergamano school coming up with Linda next week, the new plates designed by Josie, and some fantastic fashion plates from Barbara that she's illustrated, which we've turned into Groovi plates. When you see these plates, oh, no, okay, and breathe. Okay, so I get so carried away with what I've got to show, and I just have, yeah, it's very special. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of pieces that we can look at using the plates. So this is using the large mallow flower on the plate, and again, it's a technique we've done in the past where we've just taken the design exactly how it comes and applied some color to the back. If I turn it over, you can see how I've just used the pergaliner pencils with a little bit of Dorso oil just to blend, to add some color. And then I thought it'd be really nice if I picot, because we often either picot cut out the complete image or we picot cut parts of it to reveal from behind. And these plates are great for having those little sort of peepholes, so to speak. Again, when we look, we could do it with that. I mean, a little bit of careful pico cutting around that, but it really, and I wouldn't worry about doing that bit, but it really is achievable. So this one down here, you can see. Okay. Let me bring in some designer paper, because for me, the designer paper, I've just got Amazonia here. It really can change the look, depending on where you position it. See, having it in these folders is great, but it can change. So this could just be a little notelet. Let's have a look on the next one. Yellow, maybe not so good. You just play around, don't you, and sort of find what works. See, that one's quite nice, maybe. Just a little bit of drama behind it. And you don't have to be an expert at colouring in. You really don't, because that one's quite a bit mad in the background, but that's quite nice colour tone wise. Again, some teals. So it's all about just having a look and seeing what you've got. See, I mean, that's quite nice. So you've got some drama over there with the lightness behind it. A little bit too busy. Oh, that's quite a nice colour tone. So you just play around and choose an area. So that's from the Amazonia collection, but I'm wondering whether the Waimea Falls would work better. Woo. Nearly did it. Let's have a look on that one. So a bit too blue. Maybe not. That works. We've got some beautiful pinks and purples in there. So again, just the backing paper really can lift the design as well. Let's have a look. I'm sure there was one in here that I thought would work well, or maybe I was getting confused. So many gorgeous papers. Yeah. Okay. So that was having a look at the mallow. So I thought what we'll do, we'll have a look at the mallow and sort of break that down a bit, but also do a couple of other things that we've done in the past. And then I took the lovely butterfly and just added some colour on the back, again, with the pencils. So again, we bring in the Amazonia, and I reckon this will, there's a really nice one in here, which I know will work fantastic. Okay. Oh, got some missing. Look at that. It really brings the vibrancy of the colour out. So you can intensify it going back on back, or you just break it down and you choose. Sometimes what's the easiest to do, and I know this from experience from when we first started doing the Groovi, is choose a backing paper first. I remember in the early days of Groovi, and Barbara and I'd be prepping at her studio, and we'd be doing all this work and we'd colour everything in, and we was trying to do a few different techniques, and then it'd take maybe an hour to do the finished piece or so, because we was quite new to it back then. And then it'd take us nearly an hour to find something nice to put behind it. And so we used to go through Barb's stash of scraps from when she cleaned the brayer off, cleaned the jelly plate off. And that really is where the designer papers all started from, because Barbara would use these papers and people say, oh, where'd you get that backing paper? So really, that was where the love of the designer papers really started from, to make it easier. So as I say, sometimes it's easier to choose your backing paper first and then colour in your design. Okay. And if you've got them all in the folder, then look, you can label them up as well. So this is AM for Amazonia, and it's paper. If I had parchment, I'd put it in there. And it all sits on my shelf behind me, so I know exactly where to find them. And we recently had a bog off on the folders, and that was popular. That was a spur of that, and that was all because Barb was tidying up her studio, because it had just gone bang. Okay, so where should we start? Let's have a look. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready to get crafting? What was it? Blimey, 25 past nearly, and we haven't done anything. Okay, so what we're going to need to start with is the 1, 2, 3 plate. Now, if you've got this one or the dragonfly, it doesn't matter. And we're going to need some parchment. And if you've got the larger plate, mate, then you can use that. I'm going to be using mine. So we make sure the plate is the right way up. Okay, so pop that round there so it holds it all in place for me. Let's have a look. What should we do? I thought what we would do is if we do the butterfly. So I'm going to take a piece of parchment and I'm just going to line it up in the corner. So I'm using the line. You can use the edge of the plate if you wish, but on this plate, mate, it has the lines to make sure your parchment is nice and straight. Then I want some groovy tabs. I've always got groovy tabs. Where are they gone? To hold my parchment in place. Let me get a new one. Whoops, a daisy. Okay, I'm going to attach it there. So that's my parchment in place. I'm going to take my tumble dry sheet and I'm going to wipe over. Okay, now you can do this on this one or this one or on this one with what we're going to do, but I just wanted to just do it on the larger one just to show you. So to start off with, what we're going to do, I'm going to take the number 1 tool and I'm just going to trace out the circle. Now we were talking about do I trace it out first and then put it on the pink mat? Pressure comes with experience in relation to how much pressure you apply when tracing out the design. Now for me, because I've been doing it for a while, okay, I know exactly what sort of pressure I need to apply. And once you get into it, you will know yourself, okay? But there's no rules to say that you have to get a crisp white line the first time, every single time, okay? So if you haven't got the pressure in your hands, okay, there's a couple of little tips. What we're going to do, I'm going to look at this circle here now, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap to the number 2 tool, which has the little ball on the end. And I'm just going to go round very lightly around the outside of that circle. Now, because it has the ball on the outside, it's more likely to jump out, okay? And that jump there, and the reason that jumped is because I hadn't wiped it with the tumble dry sheet. So I had friction on it. So we're just going to there we go, gently go round, okay? So by going around very gently, very lightly, I'm not putting any pressure on there, okay? Excuse me. And what that will do, if I lift that away from there, oops. So we can see the difference on the whiteness, okay? Now, this type of pressure is what we would need when we're doing that lovely shading work with Linda. We'd actually need less pressure, but just to give you that idea if you've got the hang of that already. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the number 1 tool and I'm going to apply the same pressure and go back over it. Now, by going in with the number 2 tool first, what that's doing, it's gently breaking the fibers, okay? When I go in with my number 1 tool first, it's breaking the fibers quickly, okay? And there's nothing right or wrong about that. It's just what your choice of, if you're struggling to get the crisp white line, then this would be another option, okay? So again, I can go back over, and as long as I'm using the right tool, I can go round and round and round and round, okay? And it's unlikely to rip the parchment. So now if I take the number 1 and I go back over the top, see, this is what's great, is that I haven't really got to think about what I'm doing because the groovy lines are doing it all for me, okay? So now we have exactly the same brightness of white. Okay, so you can go over it once, you can go over it twice, 3 times, 4 times. But by having the plate and having it attached to a plate mate, it means that if I am tracing it out, for example, let's do this little one down here. Okay, and I trace it out and I'm doing it and I'm going to miss a bit on purpose, but as far as I'm aware, I've done it all. Okay, now when I lift it off, I can see I've got a piece missing, so I can lift my plate up, I can turn my work over, and I can say, oh yeah, look, actually this is quite good. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can really see this. Let me just stretch up, and we're going to come in. Hooray! That was a little bit in. Okay. Need to get the hang of these cameras again. Let me pop that out. So you can see here, let's have a look at this one here. This was the one that I did with my first normal pressure. This was the one where we did several layers. Okay. And then this one was where I just went round and I missed bits on purpose. But you can see in this area here where it's not as wide. It's sort of bitty, isn't it? Okay, and that's because sometimes if you're going around in a circle, you don't have the equal pressure of the whole of that circle. So if I bring the plate back into play, pop that over the top, that's now lined up because I kept it attached to the plate mate. But what I can do is turn it round. So I could just do part of the circle, turn it around again, if you prefer sort of coming towards you. See, and now I know I've got my perfect circle. Okay, so that's just a little sort of hints and tips in relation to sort of getting the right pressure, and it applies to any part of the Groovi plate depending on what design you're doing and what effect you want. So for this one, what we're going to do, we're going to trace out, I'm taking the number 1 and I'm going to trace out the body of the butterfly, trace out his little head and his little antennae. I'm doing everything in the number 1 tool. And then on this side where we've got the partial wing, I'm going to do the top part of the wing, the bottom part of the wing, and then I'm going to miss one and do the next one, because that is the separation between the 2 elements of the wing. Okay. And then over on this side, I'm going to trace the outer part. And that'll bring me to a natural stop there. And then I'm going to come into this one and trace out that element there and the bottom half of that wing. Okay, so this is giving us the outline of that butterfly. And you can do that with this one. Let's just have a look. So we can go around here, for example, and just trace this one out. So if you've gone for the cherry green butterflies, think of all the different shaped butterflies and moths that you've got on those plates that you can do this with. Okay, but you can see that's one of the great things I love about the Groovi system, is that you can pick, as you get confident, you can pick and choose the elements of it. Okay. Now, another way I know from experience that some people, when they're holding tool, because I hold it like a pen when I'm writing. Okay, so you can see I'm holding it at that angle, because that's, if I was writing, that's how I'd hold a pen. Now, some people find that because they're getting carried away, they really tense up, and the knuckles go white because they're really holding it too tightly, and so they then get finger strain, so to speak. Okay, so this is how I would hold my pen. like this. Now, if you're left-handed, I'm guessing you would hold it like that. Feels uncomfortable, but another way of holding the tool, if you take your hand and you take the tool and you pop it between those two fingers and you bring it round and your thumb is resting on the bottom of the tool and your finger is resting on the top, you can trace out just as well. It takes a little bit of getting used to, okay, but what it does is it releases the pressure from this to there. So there's no, you're not sort of applying any pressure. Okay. And the reason I remember this sort of technique was that when my music teacher at school, he was left-handed and he used to write like this. And that's how he used to hold his pen. I thought, oh, that's strange. And then when we started doing Groovi, then I found that some people that were sort of really struggling because they didn't have the pressure in their hands, but that there's no pressure. It really does alleviate the need, and you just need to go a little bit more slowly, but it's doable. But you know what? If I don't get a crisp white line, exactly what we've just been saying, you just go over it several times. And from experience, the only time that I found that I've ripped the parchment is that because I've forgotten to wipe the parchment with a tumble dry sheet. Okay. So going back to this one here, let's move that over a little bit. Oh, need a drop of coffee. Okay. Oh, I can't believe this hour is flying. And it feels very strange not having the lovely Linda in the room, no one to talk to. I can see all these messages popping up, but I've got no voices in my head today, which could be a good thing. Okay. Right. So let's pop that to one side, because what I thought we'd have a look at now, from what, again, just recapping, we know we can apply some colour. We know that, where's it gone? Everything's hiding from me today. Where is it? There it is. We know that we can do this type of shading work that Linda's been showing us. But another thing that we did back in the early days, if I bring my normal plate mate in, and I'm going to bring in the basic grids. Okay, so this is the diagonal basic grid. So this is how how Josie creates her designs for those beautiful lace duet plates that we have, and the sampler plates, and you know these plates here. They're all designed based on a grid that's got thousands and thousands of holes that you have to count to create this. But Josie works her magic and does all the counting for us, gives it over to Jim in the office, and it's like a big dot matrix, and then he transfers it onto one of these and gets rid of all the dots that don't need to be there. Okay. So again, we have choices. If I work on the back and we go with the diagonal, let's have a look at the little one for a moment, because I want to show you something on the larger one. I grab my Groovi tab. Now again, light panel would really benefit me if I was working at home, but we'll just, for ease, so all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to push into those dots. Remember that? And we did this, and you can build up your own patterns. And how we use the diagonal one, because the diagonal one fits an irregular shape better, like a flower or a butterfly. So we can just ignore creating any design, but just infilling. And this is another way of sort of adding sort of like a monochromatic color to your design. Okay. And then it's just learning just to stay away from the edge. And as you know, if we turn it over from the front and we put our foam underneath, then you could perforate as well. Okay, so they're not just for embossing. I mean, I like the effect of the embossing. And again, we looked at this in some of our previous Groovy Tuesday episodes. So you just get into it and you press, and before you know it, you've filled up your butterfly wing. And no one there. So, yeah, just there. Okay, so when we turn this over, we've got a really nice pattern in the background. And if I show you the card that Josie created, look, it's the same technique, just a different shaped butterfly. Okay, and what Josie's done underneath, look, she's done it all with the straight grid. Or you can do it patterned. Remember we did those little crosses? I think that was our first little journey into picot cutting, wasn't it? When we did those little crosses where we practiced. Let me get a piece of card and just pop that underneath so you can really look at that. That's gorgeous. But they look so different. So again, by using the basic grids, you can add design elements to your work. Okay. So if we put that to one side, now again, we have options. For example, we're looking at the basic grid, which I know a lot of people at home will have. And I also know that a lot of people at home have the recent A4 square grid plate mate. Okay, so again, we can take that. And just because it's on here as it is, doesn't mean that you can't play around with it. Look, you've got these lovely little flowers, so you can take the design. Okay, on that camera, yeah. See, I can just press in, move it around, and create designs that are already on there. See? You can create another different look. Now, if you think, oh, no, I can't, it's not in my head, I can't move things around, I've got to go with exactly how it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to be really naughty. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, and zoom out. I'll go slowly this time. There we go. Okay, so what have we got coming up on the Pergamano show on the craft store this Thursday at 11 and 3 o'clock? Okay, I'm going to show you the plates first. And then you'll go when I show you the samples. Okay, so these are the 3 fashion plates illustrated by Barb. Okay, we've got Grace. Ooh, I can hear you saying. Okay, got 4 beautiful, elegant ladies there with their accessories. Then we have Elegance, beautiful ball gowns. These, depending on how you trace it out, if you didn't put the bit in the middle, they look like is it pantaloons? Those sort of, yeah, I think that's what, I'm no fashion expert. So we've got Elegance. And then finally, we have Beauty. Okay, so again, what I love about the Groovy system is that you can take the outline of these gorgeous characters, you can fill them exactly how Barb's illustrated them. Okay, again, no guesswork, all the work's been done for you. Okay, I'm still trying to work out which one's my favorite out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 beautiful elegant ladies we've got here in this collection. Okay, but let me show you some samples. So we've got this beautiful piece here created by the gorgeous Glynis. Now what Glynis has done, she's combined the actual design with the pattern on the trousers there, but then she's replaced the pattern on this dress with the basic grids. Okay. Well, I just saw a comment from Hilda. These ladies have clearly not been in lockdown. No, they haven't. Look, and you'll probably recognize this in the background. This is from Linda's In the Garden collection. Okay. So again, that's one sample. So that's from the lovely Glynis. This is from Frances. Okay. Let me bring this up. Frances, if you'll be familiar with the name, when she's working with the design, she does it in the traditional method. And what I mean by that, there's no white outline. She uses the plates as a traditional pattern. Okay, so we have that one there. And then we have a new addition to our design team, the lovely Carol Baker. And look at this. See, look, best wishes at Christmas. This could be, oh, I don't know, graduation. Beautiful, beautiful elegance. And you've got some glitter on there to give it some sparkle. Let me bring this one in here. Look, you've got that gorgeous glitter. And these little designs around the outside. Watch this space. Okay, so again, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Then we have this bit. I love this. This is what you'll see. This is from the lovely Sheila Bradley. Okay, so see this bit here. If you didn't put anything in there, they look like, oh, I can't think what they're, not pantaloons. They're like big flares. Flares, yeah. I mean that's, yeah. We'll go with flares. But look, Sheila's actually picot cut the little hat as well. But look at this background. Look at this pattern around the outside. Let me bring in these two new plates from Josie. So Josie's worked her magic again, and this is the diagonal grid sampler number 2. 9 beautiful patterns all counted out for you. And the thinking behind this collection, the second collection, is that there's more areas for cutting out. Okay, and I'm going to be showcasing this on the craft store on Thursday at 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Okay, but these, great for infilling. So you know that little butterfly we was working on? Look, you could, oh, wrong button. Anyway, we've got a button. You could take that butterfly, you can take all different areas. Look, that would be beautiful in that butterfly. Okay, that would work, that would work, that would work, that would work. They'd all work. Okay, great for infills or for creating patterns in the background on the clothing. Okay, so that's the diagonal one. And then Josie's also done the straight one. Okay, so this one reminds me of drafts. You've got the little, you can have a game of drafts, I suppose. But they all tessellate, they all extend in all different directions. And on Thursday, I'll be showing you how by missing bits out or adding bits in with the basic grids, which I know a lot of people at home have, then those basic grids, you would trace out your design, lay the parchment on top of your basic grids, like we've done in the past, to perforate. Okay. So again, so these brand, and I've just got a couple more samples just to show. Look at this. This one's from the lovely Glynis again. See, I love the monochromatic look. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. So again, just a beautiful little design, catwalk, that says it all really, doesn't it? And then you've got that pattern to the side. It's like gorgeous trellis work. Not sure I'd want to picot cut all that out, Glynis, but There you go. Options, isn't it? Okay, and then another one from the lovely Carol Baker. Look at this. Don't they work fantastic on the tags? Okay, and then using, where's that pattern gone? Is it on this one? Then taking one of the designs to go to create borders. So again, don't think just because it's a square, it has to be a square. What Carol's done, she's done an extension down the side to create a frame. Very, and use the same pattern on the inside of the dress. So if I've been really naughty now, let me just showcase these samples again for you to really sort of just take in. And this is a handful. When you see the rest of the samples from the design team, okay, you're going to be, I thought, oh my word. And again, the lovely Josie and Jane have prepped some demos for me to showcase these. But I love this one. Isn't that, it's just amazing. That white work on the tablecloth. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's just pop those to one side. So we'll just have a quick recap. So it's the two new basic embossed, not basic, are they? These are the embossed samplers, straight and diagonal 2. Okay, so we'll have those available on Thursday. And then I really, really like, I think these are just perfect for so many different occasions. Again, illustrated by Barb. Barb has always said that she wanted to be a dressmaker. She's got, I'm going to give a secret away. She's probably got about 2 or 3 different sewing machines in her craft studio. And I remember her telling stories of how she used to make clothes when she was younger. So I suppose this is the nearest at this time, present time, that she'll get to designing her own clothing. But isn't it gorgeous? No cutting out. Oh dear. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So don't forget to tune in on Thursday. Okay. So I sort of digressed a bit, didn't I? Because I was talking about the infill of these butterflies, and that's what led me on to Josie's and Barbara's new plates that you can take. Even if you've got the original collection, they'll work perfectly in the butterflies as well. Okay, so what we're going to have a look at now, you can see how easy it is to infill. And I'd left that one open so we could repeat that process. Okay, but have a play yourself. Just trace out some outlines and have a play with the different plates that you've got. If you've got the original collection from Josie, if you've got this one, have a look at the designs on there. Just take your parchment and just lay it over the top. See, again, you can have a look, because again, you've got that maneuverability to it all. Getting all hot and bothered now. It's getting really warm in here. I've got the fan on under the desk to try and sort of create a draft, but I think it's just all the excitement of what we've got coming up. We've got the perk. You've got 1 week until school starts with the lovely Linda Williams. So if you're tuning in for the first time today, Jilly will pop a link up to, we've got a dedicated section on our website where we've put everything together, because what Linda is going to be doing is she's going to be guiding us. She's taking us back to school, and she's going to be guiding us tool by tool through her very first book that she wrote for us. This is a handbook for multi-needle tools, volume 1, and it covers various different tools. We've got the 2 needle, the 3 needle, the 4 needle, 5 in a circle, semi, and Linda's going to break it all down for us over the school period and show us how we can get the best out of these multi-needle tools. Okay, so all you will need to have ready for school is volume 1 book and the relevant tools. And what we've done on the website is we've created this tick list that you can download and print. Okay, and so it says here, there's a multi-needle handbook. It's got the code on there, and once you've got it, give it a little tick, and then you can go through. You may already have a lot of these tools already, so you can go through and say, oh, I've got the flower tool, tick that one. Oh, I've got the 5 in a circle. I've got the semi, but have I got the semicircle mini? And then the code is there for you to go and have a look on the website. And if you're a club member, we're in the middle of our half price club member sale as well. Then if you wanted to go for Multi-Needle Volume 2, we've got the book at the top. And then this is all the tools that the book covers. And then we've also done an essentials. So your accessories, like your super foam, your groovy guard. Again, you'll have a lot of this stuff already. Okay. So I'm really excited. And I know Linda is sort of raring to go to share her amazing knowledge with us all. And I can't wait. And I know Barb can't wait either, to watch and have a front row seat for an hour every week, every Tuesday, on Groovy Tuesday in the Pergamano Summer School. I'll be in the room as well. So I'll be reading all your questions and then I'll be feeding them back to Linda. So just imagine I'll be sort of a little, I'll be the sort of the presenter and Linda will be the guest. And we'll just be Linda all the time and we'll be listening and watching and learning. And afterwards, it'll all be available on our YouTube channel. So we can go back and watch it again and again. So if the doorbell goes, I mean, I'd take the batteries out the doorbell for that hour. But if the doorbell goes or the phone rings, then obviously you haven't got to worry because you can go back and watch it again and again and again. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a busy few weeks coming up. Pergamano show on Thursday, the Pergamano Summer School with Linda Williams. And if you're a club member, if you belong to any of our design clubs, our Clarity Craft clubs, whether it be stamp, stencil, groovy, dies, or all of them or some of them, then we're in the middle of our half price member sale. Lasts until Monday, I believe. And you've certainly found it. I've seen the orders coming in. So yeah, we've got a lot of orders to be picking and packing. But it's great because for me, being part of that club that's just one of the benefits. And if you have a look at Barbara's blog on Sunday, I wrote a little bit about it. And if you want some more information, then obviously you can go online or you can give Janine a call in the office. She's more than happy to talk you through the clubs, what's best for you, whether you want to pay for it up front, whether you want to spread the cost over the 12 months. But it really is because you get a product, you get the instruction sheet, you get the newsletter from Barb, you get the folder to keep it all in. We all have our folders, don't we, for our storage? So yeah, it's good times ahead. It really, really is. So how are we doing for time? Let's have a look. What have we got? Wow, 5 to 8. Should we have a look at a little bit of colouring? Let's have a look at the mallow that I did. Okay. So again, it's one of those processes that you just build up. It's just a process. Okay. And again, I love colouring on parchment because it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So I'm taking, I've just chosen one colour. This is the B5 and it's one of the pergolite. And I know a lot of people took advantage of their pencils when they were the offer of the week. Okay. And all I'm going to do, very, very lightly, I'm just scribbling in circles because what I want to do, let's see if I can come in on this one. We're going to go this way, we're going to come back, there we go. I'm just scribbling on colour. I'm not going on heavy. I'm just going on very, very lightly because all I'm doing is just taking the pigment from the pencil. And I don't need to go on heavy to get that solid colour because it's the Dorso oil that's going to break all this down and give me the effect of paint. Okay, and that's what I love. Now, if I go over the edge, and we all know with the pencils, if I go over the edge or I get carried away because I'm talking too much, Then I can take an eraser pencil and just rub it all out. So if I now take, I've got a spot on sponge, we're going to pop that there, spot on sponge with a drop of Dorso oil. Really doesn't need to be a lot. I'm going to take a clean nib. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is dip it in there, and there's way too much oil on there. If I go straight onto the parchment now, it's going to lift that color off. Okay, so I'm just going to dab it onto the sponge, and the sponge will absorb some of it. I can have a look on here to see, look, you can see how much oil's on there. Now, if I go straight on, it's moving the color around. Okay, it's definitely doing something. So when we lift that up now, we can definitely see the difference between where I scribbled it on, but it's very patchy. Okay, so I'm going to go around in circular motions. And what this is doing is now, it's diluting the pigment from the pencil, but it's also, the Dorso oil is being absorbed now. And what will happen, I wonder if I take a piece of craft card, let's have a look, see if that will, can we see that? Yeah, well, that was a good idea. See, so again, going in a circular motion, and you can see now I'm going to go over the edge on purpose, and I'm not putting too much pressure on. Okay, I'm just working in a light circular motion just to blend that color out. Okay, and we can see the difference already where we've sort of done the scribbling and where we're softening it down. Okay, and then if I take that color again, I can go in and put some more color down. So you can build it up in various layers. Okay, a little bit more oil. And then as it builds up, you really start to see. Now for me personally, when I'm colouring in, I do prefer to have the light panel underneath. It looks horrendous while you're doing it, but when you turn it over, you get a really nice effect. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's turn that over. So we can see now how it's sort of starting. You can definitely see the difference between there and there, can't you? Okay. And then what I would do, I'd blend all of that in one go. And then I'd put it to one side for about 5–10 minutes. And then I'd come back in. And then I'd just, you know how we do the white work where we flick? How Linda was showing us that shading. Again, I'm still working on the back. And it's just light, gentle flicks, just to put the darkness on the bottom part. Okay. And so it's just a gradual process of starting to build up that color. So we did the whole base coat, and then we're starting to sort of just apply the color towards the bottom. Again, just what Linda's been showing us. So if I bring this one in, you can really see how I've done that. Okay. And then what I've done, rather than sort of dilute it down, I've taken a dry nib. Let's get a dry nib. So I'm not putting any oil on. And then I'm going to dry blend. See, and then that'll smooth out as well. So again, just gentle, light, gentle pressure just to spread that color out. If we turn that over, we can start to see how it's now coming together. And this is the one that we've just built up. So that probably took me, I don't know, about 15 minutes to complete that one. That was just the colouring. Picot cutting probably took about the same sort of time as well, really. But I know that I can go back in and I can add some more depth as well. And if you want to go even darker, then you can just take a little bit of black pencil, just apply it to the very, very base as well. So today, really, I thought hopefully you found it interesting in certain ways, from being the tracing out, just to recap on sort of how you can infill a design using the basic grids or the patterned embossed plates. And it's just sometimes we need to sort of step back a few steps before we can step forward. And I thought this was a perfect opportunity before the summer school starts next week. So I hope you've enjoyed today, and I'm really looking forward to showcasing Barb's new fashion elegant ladies and Linda's embossed patterns on Thursday. So I hope you can join me there. There's no shack tomorrow, so I'll be back with you next Tuesday with the lovely Linda and the Pergamano Summer School. And I hope you can join me on Thursday on the craft store, 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And I'll see you again soon. So take care and stay safe, whatever you're up to, and just carry on grooving. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.